let's just start to pay attention to our breath. Noticing how our whole body feels physically and mentally. Bringing the focus just to the here and now, in the present moment. And giving yourself permission as you go through class to change things, to modify things as you need for your own body. Just making sure that we're respecting what the body needs today. Knowing that that might be different from last week, and it might be different from tomorrow. And then from here, let's go ahead, we can open eyes if they're closed, and let's start with some shoulder shrugs. So just take the shoulders all the way up to the ears. Notice that tension in the upper trapezius, the neck area. I don't think it feels very nice because usually we're very tense already there. And then just let the shoulders drop down. And let's go one more time like that. So just pausing for a few seconds in that tension squeeze, allowing the brain to feel that tension even more. And then just a nice relaxation and pausing here so we let the brain kind of feel that difference. Then let's take chin towards chest. Holding this position, maybe feeling a little bit of stretching in the low back, mid back, or the back of the neck. And then the head can come back up towards middle. Let's add some cat and cow with this now. So just a gentle rounding of the spine, and hands can just rest comfortably on the knees, and then a lifting of the spine. So on the inhale, we're lengthening the spine, and on the exhale, we're rounding. And just begin to notice pulling or other sensations around the spine as you do this. Maybe you can even notice like one side feels a little tighter than the other. So as I do this, I feel the left side of my back feels nice and loose, and the right side is like a nice little tense stuffed rubber band. And maybe it's a specific part of your spine versus right or left. Maybe it's like the middle or the low part. And then back to middle, or maybe it's none of the above, and that's wonderful. So from middle now, let's take your right arm down, left arm reaches tall, just create some length down the left side of your body. And then let's take a little breath, intentional breath here. So as you breathe in, feel the belly kind of expand and the lower rib cage expand in that 360-degree expansion. And hopefully feel that left-sided kind of gentle stretch that's occurring there. And then let's take that arm down and swap arms so we can compare that with the other side. Maybe one shoulder feels a little tighter, or maybe it's the rib cage. So just going into that breathing again, belly and rib cage expansion, and then everything, we exhale the air back out. And then we can take that arm down, and let's flow a little bit with it. So let's swap arms again. We can bend the right elbow if you'd like to, and breathe in and lean over any amount, and then breathe out back to middle. Other side. Breathe in, lean over any amount, back down. A couple more times here. And last time, side to side. And back to center. From here, let's just reach the arms forward any amount, and our low back or hips might decide they don't want to allow us to reach too far. That's okay, just go to where we're comfortable. And take note as you're here which leg is crossed in front. And then let's walk the hands back, and we can change the leg that's in front. And then same thing, just find a tall spine, and then we're walking our way forward any amount. And then we can slowly wiggle our way back upright. And then from here, let's make our way to hands and knees. And so just finding a nice wide grip with your hands and spreading the fingers wide, so we're distributing that pressure throughout the hands. And if it works for you to tuck the toes under, you can do that. So just tucking the toes under, if that's too painful on the toes or the feet, and you can always untuck them. But with the toes tucked under, let's take a little rock back with the hips towards the feet. And it's almost like you're pushing the floor with your hands a moment. So you might feel this in the toes. And then let's rock forward, and we can point the toes, and then just walk the hands a little forward all the way and drop the hips, but we're still tightening belly muscles here. Yeah. So you don't want to completely let the low back sag. And then now pressing back, tuck the toes. And this time let's go as far back as you want to into that child's pose, but with the toes tucked a little bit. And then let's rock forward, pointing the toes, so we kind of uncurl them there, as far forward as you want. Maybe getting a bit of a stretch in the front part of the hips there. And last time, rocking back, we can tuck the toes, finding that child's pose. Breath in, breath out. And then let's find hands and knees. Feeling free to untuck the toes there. Maybe even give them a little, hit the ground a little with them, bring some feeling back into them. Then from here, let's take the right leg and reach it back behind. And if you want to add the left arm, we can for our opposite arm and leg. Reaching arm and leg, lengthening. And then we can take knee and elbow towards each other if we'd like to. So rounding the spine into that cat pose as the knee and elbow slowly shift towards each other, and then slowly back out. Finding that balance through the right hand and the left leg. And again, rounding knee and elbow towards each other. And back out. Maybe 2 more times. And last time. And then let's take arm and leg back down, and we can rock back for a brief child's pose before we do the other side. In this child's pose, let's do some wrist circles here, just turning the wrists one direction and then the other. I know I was starting to feel my right wrist a little, maybe somebody else was too. And then we can find our way back to hands and knees. And let's take the left leg and reach it back, and the right arm. And then from here, we can take knee and elbow towards each other. And back out. And again. And back out, a couple more times. Nice work. And let's take hand and knee down, moving into some cat-cow from hands and knees position here. So just rounding and arching the spine, using your breath here. And then let's find neutral spine, and we can take a little wrist stretch. So this may or may not work for everybody, and that's all right, but we can turn the hands kind of out towards the sides. That might be enough of a stretch for you, or if you have the mobility available to keep turning, we can turn them around and then just get that nice forearm wrist stretch here. And again, always just moving into the planes that work for your own body. And pausing. And then let's release one, give it a little wiggle, bring it back to its preferred position, and then release the other. Finding our down dog, we can tuck the toes and press up into down dog. Feel free to take any little movements that would feel good here in the down dog, some ankle pedaling motion. I always feel like that first down dog just feels like you gotta get the wiggles out. Maybe even just some side to side hip motion would feel nice too. And then finding stillness as we're ready. Knees can stay soft, heels do not have to touch the ground. Let's just take a deep breath in, sighing it out the mouth here. And now walking the feet towards the hands. Keeping the knees bent slightly. And let's then rise to find a chair position. Feeling free to take the arms to wherever they feel best here. And all the way to standing. Inhale, reach. Exhale, let's fold forward, soft through the knees. Feel the hamstrings stretch, the back of the legs here. Let the neck relax. And then we can take a halfway lift. So inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale, forward fold. Stepping back with the right leg, we can find our high lunge. So feel free to use left hand to thigh if you'd like to as you make your transition up to that high lunge, which can be a bit of a balance challenge. And then once we're here, just feeling the lengthening out the back leg, the relaxing of the shoulders away from the ears. And then we can take arms to heart center. Let's reach down towards the ground, or if we're using blocks, we can support ourselves on the block here. And then let's take the right arm and plant it. Left arm can lift for the twist. And we're untwisting. This time, let's step that right leg in to meet the left leg. And we'll take an inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bending the knees, let's find our chair position. Reaching tailbone back and fingertips forward if our arms are lifted. And then all the way to stand. Breath in and folding forward. Breath out. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stepping the left leg back, we'll make that transition up to high lunge. Finding our breath here. Just taking a moment to feel the front foot solidly grounded, the back toe, forefoot area. And then arms to heart center. Let's reach down for floor or blocks. And then from here, the left hand can plant as we lift that right arm. And then let's untwist. We'll give that left leg a good push off and step it forward. Let's take a halfway lift. Inhale. And exhale, forward fold. Bending through the knees, let's find our chair position. And all the way to standing. Good. Let's take a little side bend towards the left so arms can interlace if that works. And back to center, over to the other side. And back to center, let's fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Stepping back to down dog, one leg at a time. We can take a pause here just to breathe in and out. And then let's come down onto our knees. And we can then transition to having the left leg in front and the right leg down. So we'll bring that left leg in front. You can help it along if it needs a little help. And so if we look down, we want to have the foot kind of pretty much in line with our back knee. And if that's too hard of a balance challenge, then we can have a little wider base between the back knee and the front foot. So feel free to pick what works best for you. Once we're here, think about tucking your tailbone under a little bit. And then let's take the left hand to hip, right arm can reach up. And maybe we're even shifting forward a hair. So we want to feel the stretch in the front part of that right hip versus the low back. And then we can shift our center of mass kind of back a little bit, so we're now back over that back knee, so we're not tilted forward. And then let's take both arms out to the sides here, and we'll twist towards that left knee, so with the upper body. So as you're twisting, think about the right arm pulling towards your knee, that direction, like forward, and your left arm pulls back. So we're getting kind of this opposite sort of a pull. Good, and then we want to check in with our pelvis and hips. So we want to be turning towards the leg that's lifted, and we want to work to keep the pelvis forward facing. And then let's back out of that, and reaching down towards the front leg. Let's swap legs. So we can take lefty down, righty can lift. And then again, kind of check in with that right foot placement, a little tailbone tuck. Once you're there, then we can shift forward slightly to really feel that nice, healthy stretch down the front part of that hip. Left arm can lift. We may even feel that we're engaging the left rear muscle a little bit to help us with that stretch in the front of the left hip. And then let's shift back slightly. And we can take both arms out to the sides, and then we're twisting towards the right leg, and the front arm is, left arm is pulling forward, and right arm is pulling back. Nice work. And then back to middle. So we had a couple different twisting motions there, totally fine. I saw that. And you guys were consistent with both sides. So that's why I didn't say anything. So good work as long as you did it consistently each side. So tuck the toes under, and then let's find down dog. And take a moment here. Nice deep breath in and breath out. And then as we're ready, we can walk the feet towards the hands, bending through the knees. Let's power through the feet to stand. Inhale, reach. Exhale, arms to heart center, pausing here. Let's just get our head back on our shoulders upright. And then let's root through our left foot, and we can lift the right leg in front for a moment of balance here. So really feeling the left thigh press strong as the right knee pulls upward. And then let's take the right leg back and we can find warrior one here. So back heel down, toes are out slightly. And you can take the arms where they want to land, either heart center or overhead. Or you can make up your own arm position too. And now bending that right elbow, let's take a gentle stretch here so the left hand can help pull back on that right elbow. There we go, yep. So it's like that right hand is reaching for your mid-back, kind of. And then let's release the arm. From here, strong through your back foot, and we can shift the arms forward into our humble warrior. So this does create a bit of a lever arm for that low back. So the other option would be to have your arms by your sides, which lessens the lever arm, lessens the demand for that low back. So either here or here, depending on what works for our body best today. And then let's come back up, warrior one. Arms to heart center. And we're gonna step that right leg in to meet the left leg. Let's take an inhale, overhead reach. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Bending through the knees, we'll rise up to stand. Inhale, reach. Exhale, arms to heart center. Let's pause here, just take a breath in and out, tuning into what you're feeling, taking a moment to let the nervous system catch up. And then from here, we can root through the right foot, and let's lift that left knee in front. Pressing strong through the right thigh as we're feeling that left knee lift. And then we can slowly take the left leg back to warrior one. And just take a moment to feel that back heel grounded, front foot is grounded. If we have any low back discomfort here, we can always take the back leg and shift it wider, like an inch or two, and usually that'll help. Then from here, let's bend the left elbow, and then the right arm pulls back on the left elbow. So it's like your left hand is reaching between your blades, kind of a move. That was a lot of right and left in a sentence. And then we can release the arms either overhead or by your side. So we'll move into that humble warrior. So picking the option that works for you, and then we're shifting our upper body forward, pressing into that left foot. And then back up, warrior one. Arms to heart center. And then let's step that left leg in to meet the right leg. Give your legs a bit of a wiggle, and let's fold forward. Allowing the head to relax, knees can bend. Taking a breath here. And now bending the knees a little bit deeper, let's rise back to standing. Inhale, reach. Exhale, arms to heart center. We'll root through your left leg, and this time let's take a figure four balance with that right leg, and we're gonna lead into another pose from there. So if you prefer to, I didn't grab a chair, sorry, but if you would rather hold onto a wall, feel free. We can take that right leg, lift it, and then cross it over the left. And then we're sitting the hips back like we're gonna sit in a chair, kind of a move. Finding our breath here. And then from this figure four, we're gonna turn it into a warrior two. And if that, if we lose our balance while we're trying to do that, no worries, just fine. Eventually we'll all meet in warrior two. But if we wanna try that transition, we're gonna straighten that left knee, slowly reach, uncross the right leg, reach it back long, and then we can swivel to your right to find warrior two. Awesome job. Pressing that left thigh outward, finding length from fingertip to fingertip here in our warrior two. Breathing in and breathing out. And then let's reverse the warrior. So the right arm can come down, left arm reaches tall. And back through warrior two. And then let's shift into our side angle. Left elbow towards thigh, or we can reach down for block or floor with that left arm if we prefer. Good, so we're kind of in this extended side angle, which is great if our shoulder and side allows. If that's bothering the shoulder, we can always back off with that right arm a little bit and keep it taller. And then let's come back through warrior two. We can straighten the left knee, turning palms up, shifting left and down for triangle. This is a nice position to do a little bit of a circle with that right shoulder, just to get some nice synovial fluid or lubrication for that shoulder joint. So a nice slow circle, one direction with that right arm. And then swapping directions. And then let's bend that left knee back up to warrior two. Arms to heart center. And we'll lift your right heel, pivot on around to face the front. And reaching down now, we can find the floor or blocks. And let's just take the back knee down, and we can take both hands on the inside of your left leg, and then feel free just to sink the hips down any amount here to find that hip stretch. The left knee just gently falls out towards the side. And then let's shift back towards that back leg. We can help the left leg back underneath us if it needs some help. And let's take a moment in child's pose here. So just rocking the hips back, reaching fingertips forward. Take a couple nice deep breaths in and out, feeling the belly and then the rib cage expand. And then we can rise back up to find hands and knees. Tucking toes, let's find our down dog. And we'll pause here for a breath in and out. And now walking the feet towards the hands, bending through the knees. And then let's rise up to stand. Inhale, lift. Exhale, arms to heart center. Let's just pause here. Breath in, breath out. Regrounding. Just noticing the whole body, how it's feeling. Probably one leg feels a little different than the other because it does feel like we need to do the other side still. So let's do that. Rooting through the right foot. We can lift that left knee And then we'll take our figure 4 here. So feel free, you can hang on to something if that works better. But finding figure 4 and then sitting the hips back, feeling a little tightening through those belly muscles to help support you here. Finding a point to gaze on slightly in front of your mat can also be helpful for the balance. Preferably a non-moving point. And then let's take that left leg. We're going to make that transition to warrior 2. So again, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Either way, we'll give it a go. Reaching the leg back, and then we're swiveling left to find warrior 2. Great work. So the right knee is bent. We're pressing that right thigh out. Again, feeling that length from fingertip to fingertip and openness across the chest. And from here, let's reverse the warrior, left arm down. And back through to warrior 2. Then we'll shift into our side angle. So right elbow towards thigh, or again, we can reach down for a block or the floor, depending on mobility through hips and arms and shoulders and spine. And then let's make our way back out to warrior 2. We can straighten that right knee, turning palms up, shifting right, and then down for triangle. And this is the one where we can take a nice big circle with that left arm, one direction, and just kind of notice parts of that circle that maybe feel a little tight or don't feel tight. And then the other direction. And then let's rebend the right knee back out to warrior 2. Taking arms to heart center. We can lift that left heel, pivot on around to face the front again, and reaching down for floor or blocks. We'll take the back knee down. And then we can untuck the back toe if we want to, both hands on the inside of your right leg. And we're just shifting the hips forward and down, letting the knee fall out. So we may need to bring that front foot forward a little bit. If we're feeling like we're kind of still closer towards that back leg, it might feel a little bit better on the hips to have the front foot forward. We're just finding our breath here, so if we notice things stretching, using our breath, breathing into those areas. And then from here, let's shift, making our way closer towards the back leg. And then we can help that right leg underneath us. And from hands and knees, we're going to tuck our toes, pressing into our down dog. Taking a nice deep breath in, just sighing it out the mouth here. And then since we had a few requests for hips and shoulders today, let's take an inhale and we're going to lift the right leg up behind any amount. And as you lift the right leg up behind, we can then draw the knee forward to find our pigeon stretch. So let's draw that knee forward and we can place it on the ground. And it might take a little maneuvering here to get our body where it wants to be. And always feel free to prop a block underneath that right hip if that hip feels like it needs a little support. And we're trying to, really this gets the right hip, but it also gets the front part of that left hip if we're a little tight there. So one thing that I think feels nice sometimes is to kind of lift your left knee and squeeze it straight for a moment, because that'll really elongate that hip flexor. And then you can set it back down, and feel free to stay up tall or to come down lower, depending on what that right hip allows you to do. This is like the position if you need to say a prayer that you'll make it through this stretch, I guess. I just feel like I'm about to start a prayer now. Please help this right hip loosen up eventually. And then let's make our way back out. Tuck the back toe, and then we're pressing into the hands so we can take some pressure off that front knee. And let's step back to the down dog position. And then from here, swapping legs. So taking the left leg and lifting, and then we can draw that knee forward, and we're setting up for pigeon on the other side. And then again, finding little movements here. Maybe we take a moment just to kind of lift that back knee and squeeze it straight and then set it back down. Maybe we support with a block under the hip, or maybe we come down and say that prayer for the left hip. And those of you that are really flexible through the hips, that's great. Good work. Then you're probably not feeling much here. And then let's make our way back up. We can tuck the toe, and this time we're going to just go to hands and knees. So finding hands and knees, let's take a little thread the needle position here for the shoulders. We can take the right arm out to the side, and then let's tuck the arm underneath the left, and the right cheek can come to floor or block. So if that floor feels like it's a little far away, we can grab a block too. And then if you want to, you can take the left arm and stretch it forward towards your head, like that direction. Yep. So it can slide forward on the ground. There you go. And sometimes that creates a nice stretch in that armpit area of the left shoulder. We're just finding our breath here. And then let's bend that left elbow if it's straight and bring the hand closer towards our head. That way we can press on up to find our hands and knees. And then this time we'll take the left arm out to the side, and then we can tuck that arm underneath. Left cheek towards mat. Right arm can reach forward. And we're using our breath here just to breathe into areas that we feel stretching. And then we can bend that right elbow, taking the hand closer towards our head. That way we can press on up, finding hands and knees again. And then let's shift our way towards belly here. So if you want to do that, just slowly lowering to belly, we can meet there. And from belly, we can take our locust position. So taking hands by your sides, pinkies towards hips, palms are down. And then legs are strong here. We can keep the chin slightly tucked. We're lifting the upper body and the lower body if we'd like to. Feeling just a little tightening through the belly muscles still with this. And then we can lower our head towards, forehead towards fists. And feel free just to bend your knees. Take a little side to side rock here, back and forth. Just to loosen up through that low back. And then we can release the legs out. And from here, taking arms on either side, we're going to press on up. And then let's swivel around to a seated position. So from sitting, taking your left leg out to the side, right leg can tuck in. I'll mirror you, or I'll do my best to mirror you. And find a tall spine here. Just take a moment to kind of feel both sit bones engage. And then as you're ready, reaching towards that left leg any amount. The right arm can rest on the right leg, or we can reach that arm up and over. So feel free to explore a little bit with that right arm. And we'll have a chance to kind of flow from here into a bit of a counter stretch. So let's take that right arm, reach it on around, planting the right hand. If it feels okay, you can come up on your right knee. And just with that left arm, take a nice little counter stretch. You know, you can kind of explore a little here. Wiggle that arm back and forth a little bit. Just kind of find the spot where your body says, ooh, that's a nice stretch. And if it doesn't say that at all, well, that's okay. Just imagine it. It'll come eventually, hopefully. And then back down. And let's go one more time towards your left leg. And we won't hold it, we'll just kind of flow. And then if you choose, one more time into that counter stretch. Just see if you can notice something different this time than you did the first time that you tried it. And back down, good work. Let's swap legs, so right leg out to the side, left can tuck in. Again, just take that moment to kind of square up the pelvis. And then as you're ready, reaching towards the right leg, left arm of position of choice if you want to bring it over or leave it down. We'll just hold this stretch for a few moments. You may notice as you're holding the stretch that some things start to release a little bit. Maybe you feel a little more relaxed, maybe not. And then we can shift into that counter stretch. So planting the left hand and then just taking some freedom here with that arm movement. Maybe it's overhead, maybe it comes back a little bit or forward a little bit. See if you can find the spot where you're getting the stretch maybe in the arm, shoulder, side, or even the different parts of that hip. And then one more time, reaching down towards your right leg. And then we'll rotate back out of that as you choose. One last time into the counter stretch. And then back down. Good work. Let's take a moment before we go on to our backs to come back to the position that we started in. So we'll take one leg, just kind of remember which leg is crossed in front. And then from here, reach those arms forward and just kind of notice, does it feel a little different? Hopefully it does. I can tell you 100% that all of you are folding forward quite a bit more than you did at the beginning today. And then walk your hands back up, change the cross of the legs. Did it feel different, you guys? Yeah, okay, cool. And I mean, it's one thing if I see it, but it doesn't matter if you don't feel it. And then walk forward. Notice right hip, notice left. And then let's make your way back upright. Good work. Let's shift onto your back here. And we'll meet there. Feel free to keep your knees bent. And from our back, let's move into a little bit of bridge flow. So pressing through the feet, we'll add the arms right away here too. So we can take a lift with the hips, palms facing each other. Let's also lift the arms, if it works, to lift them overhead. Just taking a nice deep breath in, arms reaching, hips lift, and breath out, returning the arms and the hips back down. And in your own timing here, so let's do a few more of these. Feel free to go slower or faster. And then on the next one, let's keep the hands down and we can just lift through the hips. If you want to kind of wiggle those arms underneath you, you can. Sometimes people like to interlace them and pull the shoulder blades together underneath you. That's one idea. Keep thinking about pressing into the feet, keeping the thighs parallel. Just kind of imagining that opening across the hips, the front of the hips. And then let's lower the hips back down. And take a moment just to do a little windshield wiper motion with those knees. So back and forth, nice easy range. We'll get into some more hip stretching here in a moment. And then let's from here reach around and take hold of the right thigh. So we can reach around that leg and take the foot up towards the ceiling any amount. Maybe it feels nice to take some ankle pumping up and down here. We can take the left leg out straight or keep it bent. And then bend the right knee and let's draw the knee towards the opposite shoulder. So we won't go into the full spinal twist yet here. Just kind of angle that knee across until you get the right rear stretching. And so you may have to lift the pelvis a little bit. You may have to do a little bit of a rotation here. That's okay. See if you can get that pulling in the right rear. If you want to take the right arm out to the side, feel free. And then option to stay here, or if you like that full spinal twist, then you can go ahead and just keep on twisting with that leg and just take that rotation through the whole spine as your spine allows. Working to relax through the head and neck and shoulders though. So notice if the upper body wanted to try to tense up here. We're breathing. And now coming back to our back, let's hug both knees in towards the chest and then take hold around the left leg. And we can reach the left leg up and point and flex the foot just a little bit back and forth. Noticing the hamstring stretching in the back part of the left leg. And then bending that left knee in, let's draw the left knee towards the right shoulder. And we can take that partial stretch where we're feeling that stretch in the outer left hip. And then if you'd like to, you can certainly take the left arm out and take that stretch into more of a spinal twist if that's what feels best for your body today. Bringing our awareness and attention to our breath. Noticing areas that we're feeling stretching in our body. And then slowly unwinding, let's hug both knees in towards the chest, taking a side-to-side rocking motion as it feels good up for our low back. And now placing our feet down. All right, from here, take your time. We're gonna find our way to a wall. And so just grab a wall nearby and we'll have you lie on your back with your feet up against the wall. If you feel like your pelvis is tilting upward, like you can't relax your back completely on the ground, then you may need to shift a little further away from the wall. But if your back can be nicely relaxed and your feet just resting up on the wall, that's what we're after. Just bring your attention and awareness to the sensation of the floor or mat supporting your spine, supporting your hips. Bring your awareness to your breath. And then if you'd like to, you can start to take your feet apart on the wall for that inner thigh stretch. Just allowing gravity and the support of the wall to do the stretch here. If you want to, you can take your arms out to the sides or rest your hands on your belly if that feels better. Just notice the rise and fall of your belly with your breath. Begin to relax through your facial muscles, the area behind your eyes, the jaw, the shoulders, the neck. Notice a sense of relaxation around the hips. And follow your breath as you inhale and as you exhale. If at any point your legs are feeling uncomfortable, we don't want anyone to get stuck here, so feel free. You can always bring your legs back up to center or back together at any point. Or if you're comfortable here, you can leave them stretching out to the sides. And just take this opportunity to relax, release, and notice with your awareness on your breath. Continue to observe with curiosity sensations that might be arising. Really taking this opportunity to pause, to relax, to notice, finding stillness. Giving yourself permission to take this moment to reflect on the time that you're spending cultivating wellness for your own body. And feel free, you can stay here as long as you would like to. I'll end our practice here. Thank you so much for joining me today for this yoga practice. Namaste.